So can you please turn on your two servers? We have night anti-tor DC1 and anti-core DC1, right?
Yeah.
We have two domain controllers. So please turn on both of the domain controllers. Rest we don't need today.
And on anti-tor DC1, it asking me to install the tools. Should I think.
Why it's asking you? If it's asking you install the tools, yeah, no
Yes.
problem.
Just click there.
Yeah.
So we need a domain controller and then a core domain controller.
Both of
Both domain controllers. Both are domain controllers. Core and GUI are the options we installed, right? We just went different way. Otherwise, most of the time we have GUI, and we have two domain controllers in GUI.
that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. It looks like
Okay. Today we are going to get rid of core.
I know.
Yeah.
I
And
think so.
yeah, we are not going to get rid of directly, but indirectly we are going to get rid of.
Like attach this with the. You're gonna attach this one code with the GUI one.
No, we cannot do anything. In 2016, we cannot convert core to GUI and GUI to core.
No, like can we do this way? Like one like we have one GUI that is Tor DC1.
Yeah.
Can we in admin can we get the admin of the core?
Yeah, we can. We cannot log in on this controller, but remotely we can log in, right?
That they will.
But the interface will be the same. The interface
Yeah.
will be the core is core.
Yeah,
It's not gonna give us the GUI interface.
is there no way like accept the remote one?
Remote, we when we installed the core, and then we installed the roles on top of it, we accessed it remotely first in PowerShell, and then we did all the tasks. We could directly do on the interface of the core, but we didn't. We used remote shell, right? We used PowerShell, accessed the server remotely, and then we installed the roles. The domain controller role and DHCP role and the DNS role. If you don't forget. Only Ashley got the concept what we did.
So do we have voucher for this exam?
You can talk to Mary. Yeah.
Okay. We have, right? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
She just gave me, but she said it's not the updated version.
Sorry?
She said it's not the updated version.
Oh yeah. The voucher. For VMware, I got the voucher because I'm not a secondary student, but I get it.
The VMware vouchers are different.
Oh, yeah?
When you guys join a program where you guys are going to fulfill your 40 hours official hours course,
Mhm.
then it's from Microsoft. From VMware. So they offer you a very on cheap price voucher, right?
Yes.
So then you guys can write the exam using that voucher. Instead of paying in front, you guys go and what we call that, yeah. It's a different thing. So we just already first register there, and then we use that voucher, and we can book the exam and give the exam.
I looked for Microsoft exams. Like if you like as I'm a student studying, they give discount for students.
Yeah, students, if
I'll-
you guys can get the
I'll
All
go through
Microsoft
that.
exams?
Like yeah, basically it's very like Microsoft and Cisco exams are very high fees for that.
talk to the management. I don't know what program you have enrolled or what's your things are.
And the AWS clouding fees there is less. I see. The exam course is less.
So did you guys log in?
Yes.
So, Ashley, did you log into Core as well? So, is it open in front of you now? Can you just type PowerShell? Others don't need to, or if you guys want to do better, if we can check either our DHCP is working or not. On Ashley Core, it was not working last time.
Okay.
Yeah, if our Nano server was unable to get the any configuration from the DHCP server. So just have you done the PowerShell? And now we are on the PowerShell. It's showing PS, right? So can you please click type get hyphen DHCP server 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 setting SETTING get hyphen DHCP server setting and then hit enter. Do you have the same fields there, Ashley? In domain join true, is authorized true, dynamic boot be true, and yeah, and then active policies true.
In my case, it's
Active call, yeah, true.
Yeah. Pardon? What did you say?
I'm in the core one.
What it's showing in your case?
It's command prompt.
Command prompt? What do you mean? You are not here? Not on the PowerShell? Did you type PowerShell first? We type just PowerShell. Enter and then you can go to the PowerShell.
Yeah. So,
The interface looks same, but now we are on PowerShell.
yeah.
So Mary, Ashley, then please type get hyphen DHCP server v4 get DHCP server, then v4 scope SCOPE scope, then give please space and then pipe, use press the shift key and then the backslash key. Over there is we have pipe,
Okay.
and then please format a space and then format 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 hyphen list. We can issue the command without format hyphen list, but it will give us in a
Filter.
different way. So in format list means it gives us in a nice way we can easily read what's going on there. So hit enter. Can you see, do we have the same scope, ID and the everything?
The scope ID is different. Mine is 0.16810.0.
So it means you did not configure your DHCP server that day properly. What is the scope ID there?
The scope ID is 0.168.10.0.
Zero, some it's starting from 0. That cannot be right. So name of the scope is,
So,
and then subnet mask.
25.255.255.
See, you totally messed up at that day. That's why your DHCP server was not issuing the any IP address to your Nano server or any other machine. So leave it. We don't need today. We are going to get rid of it. Otherwise, we could configure this one right now. So after getting rid of this server, we will install DHCP role on the GUI server then. So please let me what we are going to do today. So our first server is, what's the name of our servers? Anti-Tor DC1 and Anti-Core DC1, right? Both are our domain controllers. One is the first when we install the domain controller, we say it a root DC, right? So root domain controller, and the second always it's a replica DC. Replica means the exact copy of the anything else, right?
Yeah,
So
replica.
if we have one DC, we have the exact copy on the second DC. So we have installed actually core, and we promoted our core to domain controller, so we could not actually visually saw okay what's going on, either whatever we have on DC1 we have on DC2 or not. But in reality, if we had installed the users here, what type of the user we have on this server DC1 we have on this server as well. So whatever we make change on one server, it happens on the second server as well.
Are they like, is it a replica now?
No, yeah, it's replica. The only thing, the difference is we did not go for the GUI server,
Yeah.
GUI domain controller.
Yeah.
We installed the core and we promoted core. So everything we have on our root domain controller, we have on our replica DC as well. Then if we always talk about the high availability, those things should be high available. How we can make them highly available? If we have one server, we may have another server, and how we are getting from failover clustering and different things we are using to achieve the high availability. But the thing is, we may have another copy of everything in our environments. But there are 5 roles in our domains or in our forest. We cannot have the copy of those roles. What those roles are? FSMO. So FSMO, we call them FSMO, and it stands for Flexible Single Master Operations. So we have 5 flexible single master operations. We have 5 masters, right, who take care of our whole the Active Directory. They perform different roles, so our environment keep running all the time. So what those roles are and why we cannot have the copy of that? It's the architecture of the Active Directory. So everything else we are achieving high availability, but we cannot achieve the high availability in these roles, the flexible single master operations. Which one those, Naveen?
We have right now.
Do you know the FSMO roles? You guys didn't go through in your Seneca College?
Centennial.
Centennial?
No, like we just did the 2012, like installing and these things, just changing IPs, basic
Hello.
things.
So these 5 roles, we have 5. These masters are, we have 5 masters. And we cannot have duplicates of it. So when we install the first domain controller, the root DC, always we have all of these operations masters role on one server, one domain controller. Unless otherwise we transfer those roles to other domain controller. And the best practice is usually when we have all the roles on the one domain controller, we have other domain controllers available in the environment, we always transfer roles to different domain controllers. So if one domain controller is going down, at least we are not losing all of the roles at the same time.
So we cannot like copy.
Hmm?
We cannot keep them copy like in case of high availability.
No, we cannot keep copy of it.
We have to like if something went, we have to copy. Like we have to.
Then we
transfer them
have to transfer the roles.
at the moment. Yeah.
The transfer word we use over here when we simply our environment is running and we need to replace the hardware, the domain controller that holds all of the roles, we need to replace that hardware. Then we simply gracefully transfer the roles to other domain controller and then we decommission the first domain controller. But if that server crashed, it's gone accidentally, then we seize the roles from that domain controller, right? We forcefully took away the roles, always take away the roles from that DC. So we are going to do both of the things today. First we will do, so our right now we all of our roles are on our root domain controllers. All 5 operations row master roles are 5 masters are sitting on our first DC, NT-TOR DC1. First we will gracefully transfer the roles to our core DC1, the second domain controller. We will transfer on replica DC, and then we will crash our core DC. After crashing the core DC, then what we will do, we will seize the roles on our DC1. We will take away these roles forcefully from core DC1 and we will transfer them to our TOR DC1. And then we will remove all the metadata belongs to the core server. We will go one by one and that will be more understanding there then. The thing is, what we have the FSMO roles, what the roles are. So the managing operations masters. So these are the roles. We have PDC emulator, RID master, infrastructure master, domain naming master, and then schema master. These are the 5 roles. What is schema? Who is familiar with schema?
Skills we do for database.
Hmm?
We use it for the database.
Pardon?
Use it for the database.
User for the database?
With the schema. Usually when they come for like data SQL server, we use like a schema, like maintain it for database and things like that.
Where you have done that?
That
Where did you do that?
my university,
Hmm?
IT degree.
IT degree?
Yeah, back home. Not here. Back home.
Then you did not get your teachers ready there.
Is that?
Yeah. Schema, no doubt schema is a partition as well in databases. But when we say it's a schema operations master, it's a different thing, right? But the schema, if you are saying it's a partition of the Active Directory database, that is true, absolutely true. But what is the schema? So it's a blueprint of Active Directory. So it contains classes and attributes of the objects of AD objects. What does it mean, the classes and the attributes?
uh, behavior kind of.
I'm talking about attributes, not attitude.
uh, kind of things like it contains
So see,
features.
if I let me go to the Active Directory users and computer, and now we have already bunch of users there. If I go properties of any of the user, see these are the classes and the attributes available, right? These are different tabs. In general tab, I can give the object a name, description, display name, office, email, web page, right? I can fill out the informations here. If I click on address, then the relative informations I can fill in here, right? In these fields. Account, we have user logon name, we have user logon pre-Windows 2000 page, we can unlock account, lock account, we can give the password policies, okay, when it will be get expired. So user should log on, change the password on the first logon or not. And then profile, telephone, organization, member of, which are the groups this user member of, dial in. So there are plenty of things, right? So these are the attributes fields. So as if we are all of these attributes, can you please see here anywhere the exchange related thing? There is no exchange attributes, right? And what if we want to add those attributes in this field? What we'll have to do? How we can add another attribute to this user here?
Go to the advanced.
Advanced view. So then we will have more fields. Okay, whatever we have right now, if we want to new fields in it, I'm not saying how I can explore more fields. I'm asking how I can add more fields, more attributes here. So what is attribute? Attribute defines, right, any object. My body structure, my name, these things are my attributes. So anyone can recognize me by my attributes. We are coming to college. College give us a form, admission form, right? We fill out different fields. The informations required by the college. We always fill those forms. So, for example, if college is getting different information, there is a standard form. After some time, college realized, okay, man, we are missing one information, and we should start getting this information as well. For example, SIN card number, if college is required. What the college will do to amend the form? They will have to design a new form, right? By adding the new field in it. So where there will be a column available to write the SIN. So there will be a new thing, right? They are going to upgrade their form. They need to do something, and then they will start printing all the forms again. So all the previous ones gone. So schema holds all the attributes of the objects. We call it a blueprint of the Active Directory. So it's a master thing. So if we need to change any attribute, we always need to upgrade the schema. So its impact is all the forest. Its impact goes to all the forest. If we want to add a exchange attribute, we need to first we are bringing our exchange server in the environment. Then we need another attribute. For that, to bring the exchange server in the environment, first we will upgrade the schema. we will prepare the schema basically according to the new roles, new things coming to the environment. So any application that has forest wide impact, that required forest wide changes, we always prepare the schema according to that. And usually who does that? The vendors companies who are bringing that application to our environment. They already defined what type of changes they need to amend in the schema. In these forms we already have, they need one another attribute for users, computers, or anything. Whatever the changes required by those vendors, according to that schema will get upgraded, right? And then we will be able to see the new fields in these forms. It's a form, right? Application form or users form. So either we are logging informations, password information, deletion, addition, all everything in the Active Directory we say it's a object. What is object? Anything in the Active Directory is object. So if we need to add, for example, over here I have now computers. In computers, if I go to the properties of the computers, I have these fields. If I want any extra field, what I will have to do, I will have to prepare the schema first. I will have to change or upgrade the schema accordingly, right? Then I will be able to get any field. So it's not a small change, it brings big changes. So it's the master role that is a forest wide. In 5 master roles, 2 of them are forest level roles and 3 are domain wide roles. So forest wide role and domain wide roles. And which those roles are, we have enlisted here. So better to discuss there. So forest wide roles are one is schema master role, and the second is domain naming master. So these 2 roles in these 5 FSMO roles, these 2 are forest wide. And schema, I just discussed what it does and why we need to change it, and whenever we need, we have to keep in mind its impact is forest wide. It will bring the changes forest wide. Wow. It doesn't matter how many domains we have in our forest. So the domain naming master, another role, when we add new domains or we remove the domains from the environment, we need this role. Domain naming master, without this role we cannot add new domains to the forest, or we cannot delete any domain from the forest. So domain naming master always keep all the informations regarding the domains and what the hierarchy of the domains is, all type of those informations this guy, the domain naming master, holds. So if I have, for example, this schema master role, as I said, we may have the first domain controller always have all the roles. Then we can transfer these roles to different servers to avoid the sudden failure of all of them, right? So we can have on each role on the each domain controllers. If we have 5 or more than 5 domain controllers in the environment, we can split all the roles across the forest. But the 3 roles we will be able to spread across the domain, not in the forest, right? So each domain has its own 3 roles. But the forest wide roles we can have on any right on the domain controller, but preferably it's on the root domain. The domain controllers that belongs to root domain, we always keep these roles there on their domain controllers.
So like it's kind of like what we did in hard disk, like splitting, like if that fails, it will cover on by the second one.
No, there is no second one in operations master. The role is gone. We have to recover that role on some other domain controllers.
Okay.
We cannot have any other second copy. The mean is, for example, if I have these roles, 5 roles, all 5 roles on this my NT.DC1, and if it goes down, it's no more. I don't have any more.
Okay. At
Then
the-
what will be the impact of it?
There will be
I don't have any operations master role available. And who will perform the roles? No one. Right? But if I have on the all the roles are on the 5 different servers, I have one role here, all of these are my servers. I have one schema here. I have domain naming master here. So domain naming role on this server.
so we can divide them.
Yeah. Not yeah, we can spread across
Yeah.
the, and then I have a PDC emulator, and then infrastructure, master role, and then I have read master. So in this case, if something goes down, if this schema master goes down, then still I have 4 roles alive, right? All the functionalities are not going down. Only the schema is not available. And what will be the impact of the schema if schema is not available? Does it have any impact on the end users? No impact, right? The clients who are accessing our environment, they will not feel any difference if schema is down.
It's for admins, like it's
Yeah.
for us.
It's for us whenever we need to add a new application, the forest-wide application, we need to add a new field in the attributes of the objects. Then we are going to upgrade it, we are going to prepare it, or we are going to do something with this schema master role until there is no impact on the end users. So end users are not gonna feel anything, right? So all 4 are working perfectly fine. So I can just seize this role to another server.
So we separate them like on each one single, so that like if something lost, like we don't have to recover all of them. Like, it's
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
difficult here.
So immediate impact, we can, the density of the impact, we can reduce it, right?
Yeah.
So if the domain naming master goes down, what will be the impact of the end users? Will it impact
No, it is just
end
for-
users?
it is just for
He's taking care of the domain names.
yeah.
We cannot add the domains or we cannot delete the domain from our environment. End users have no concern with those things, right?
They have whatever
They are
have.
accessing the Active Directory. They don't have any impact. So both forest-wide roles have no direct impact if they failed, have no direct impact on the end users, right? So if these are the down, the only functionality we will not be able to perform, we will not be able to add the domain in the environment, we will not be able to remove any domain from the environment, and in case of schema, we will not be able to prepare our Active Directory for the new amendments, right? The new applications, the forest-wide applications. And then what are these roles are? PDC emulator, infrastructure master, and read master. So one we have PDC emulator. What is PDC emulator? PDC emulator does bunch of things. It in my point of view, it's the most critical role. Most critical role. So it provides the legacy support. So all the legacy clients still, if they can the play the active role in the recent environment, is due to PDC. They can get authenticated from the Active Directory due to PDC emulator role. Then if I come back to my paint instead of this, so the PDC emulator why it's not changing the color? It's not listening me today. Okay, so PDC emulator so it provides legacy support. Means anti Windows, right? Then what it does, the passwords, when we change the passwords, what the normal behavior of the domain controller's replication is. I have this domain controller and I have this domain controller, two domain controllers. Whatever we will do on the first domain controller, it will get replicated to the second domain controller. What we are doing on the second, it will get replicated to the first domain controller. But within a same site, same physical site, if my servers are within the same site, they will get replicated within seconds. It can take maybe 45 seconds, something like that. But if my one location, one domain controller is on this location, Scarborough, and the second is on maybe Etobicoke, right? So the both domain controllers will take the time whatever we have configured as a administrator's replication time. So if we have configured 15 minutes, it will get replicated after 15 minutes. And if we have going with that by default replication time, that is 180 minutes. So 3 hours, right? After 3 hours, the second domain controller will get aware of those changes we have done with the user's passwords or we have done with the deletion. But the user's deletion or the password replication, the PDC, due to PDC emulator, happens immediately. As we change the password, the domain controller we are using, it informs the PDC emulator, and PDC emulator replicate those changes to all domain controllers we have in our environment.
So it plays like a protocol.
It's the important role, yeah. It immediately replicates all of those changes. So password and user deletion replication. It's second important thing, right? One.
Administrators, right?
Pardon?
For administrators.
This role has impact on the end users, right? If we are changing the password and that's not get replicated, we change the password in Toronto and the user is sitting in Mumbai, right?
Yeah.
So it has effect on the end users. It has
But I'm asking, the PDC emulator provides the facility for the administrators, right? To do the changes.
yeah, changes. So it replicates password and the user deletion replication immediately across the domain, not the forest.
So PDC emulator, it's in the schema, right?
No.
It's another
These
role.
all are 5 roles. We have 5 roles: schema master role, domain naming master role, PDC emulator,
Got it.
right? And then
is it like deletion or deletion?
Deletion, DELETION, deletion,
Delete.
delete. We delete the user, right?
We also make some changes, or it doesn't do
The normal changes they gets replicated whatever we have designed the replication interval. So we have configured the time. It will go like that. But these type of changes required immediate replication.
Yes.
So user can log in. If we have deleted the user and the user have to wait 15-20 minutes get deleted, so it means user can do something in that time.
Yes.
Sometimes we need, as we have deleted the user, it should no more access, right?
Something wrong happened.
Yeah. So then time synchronization. It plays another role, that is time synchronization. So time synchronization means our domain controllers, the having the role of PDC emulator, it gets synchronized with the any time server. We have different time servers across the globe. We can choose any of them to configure the time, so our all the domain controllers and the PCs can remain on the same time. We may choose any government, the Canadian government, the time server, and we can synchronize our environment with that. Our companies have their own time server they can have, and then the company's time server can get synchronized with the government, and the government time servers get synchronized with the atomic clock. We have an atomic clock for whole the globe. They get synchronized with them. So only because we are on the same time across the globe. So the time synchronization get happened in our environments through this PDC emulator. It's too critical role. So if the time synchronization, if there is more than few minutes difference, if there is a much difference in the time between one domain controller to second or our PCs and the domain controllers, nothing will going to work. So we are losing all the things maybe. So the time synchronization is very important, really important. All the environments should be on the same time. There should be some roles, some applications roles afford 1 minute delay, some supports up till 5 minutes delay. If the difference of the time from one to the second is 5 minutes, they can afford that, but not more than that. If some of the applications go for 1 minute, they cannot afford more than 1 minute difference even. So those things are being taken care by this PDC emulator. So the group policy, any change to the group policy is done by PDC emulator. It replicates all of the group policy related policies and the things. Another role of the PDC emulator is group policy changes, the replication of group policy changes. It performs many roles. So this role has direct impact on the end users as well. So we always keep this role on our powerful computer. The most reliable domain controller, we always keep this role there.
PDC emulator.
Yeah, we want this role to be available all the time up, right? So if this role, this guy can goes down, this PDC emulator, it can impact the end users as well. So then what is infrastructure? Infrastructure role. So infrastructure role, it references the objects in the domain. It references provide reference for all of the objects in the domain and what is happening with its own object in other domains. For example, if some user belongs to one domain and it is member of some groups, some security groups in other domains as well, and anyone will remove that user from those domains, it will create a reference for that. Okay, this change happened. It will tell the guy, okay man, you don't have any permission anymore, right? You don't have permission to this much resources now. No, gone. So it always keep updating those changes. The recommendation is, you guys, we have discussed in first class the global catalog as well. So global catalog, what is that? It indexes the objects and provides help in search, right? If the global catalog is not available in the environment, we users cannot log in. The search will not be, the user cannot log in to the domain. That's too much critical. So it is recommended we do not have both of these roles, the global catalog and this master, on the same server. So because the role they perform is very similar. It creates the references for the objects and the global catalog indexes the objects. Then infrastructure master role, second thing it does, it remove the ghost objects from the Active Directory. So it performs the cleanliness for the Active Directory access. So it keep clean our Active Directory after some time. So there can be conflict in infrastructure master and global catalog. So infrastructure master role, it removes the ghost objects or lingering from AD, Active Directory. And it keep track of the object changes, of the changes regarding objects in other domains. So mean to say, I have this domain. I have here another domain, right? So this one is a abc.com. This one is xyz.com. I have a user here, for example Ali. I have one user Ali here, right? And then I have one security group here. So that can be the very familiar one is maybe backup operators, right? So this guy Ali is member of this group over here on that domain, right? So if someone will delete this user, Ali belongs to this group. And if we remove this user from this group, it will only get informed by this infrastructure master role. Okay, now you are no more the member of that group. When it will try to get access, it's not gonna get the access, right? It will get the failure message. Due to this infrastructure master role, it will get updated over here. That change, the change happening in this domain for this user, this object, it will get updated in its own domain due to its own infrastructure master role. So infrastructure master has somewhat impact on the end users as well then, right?
So where is that running? There?
No, its own is
ABC.
here. This domain has its own infrastructure master role. This domain has its own infrastructure master role. So for example, this domain has bunch of domain controllers, right?
Okay.
And this domain has its own domain controllers. So the infrastructure master role of this domain will keep the track of the changes happening in other domains for its own objects,
Okay.
right? So whatever is happening within own object with other domains, it will keep reference for those changes. Okay, this is happened to you in that domain, this is has happened to you in that domain, right? So different domains if it's member of. And within a same forest, sometimes we provide access to different resources in other domains as well. So whatever is happening with Ali, with this account, this guy, this one, in any other domain. For example, we have another domain. So within that organization, we have another domain. So whatever the members of groups, this guy Ali is here, it will be get recorded only within his own domain as well, and that will be done by infrastructure master role. Got it or not clear?
Good.
So
Okay, should be okay.
should be okay.
So it has to be like fast also. Like
Yeah. So it has impact on
end users.
end users as well. It goes down. And what is read master?
Relative identifier master.
Hmm?
Relative identifier. Master.
Relative identifier master, huh? Is it right? So basically it's the name is read. So read master. So whenever we create an object in Active Directory, so SID gets created. For that, object. What is SID? Security identifier, right? So each and every object in Active Directory has its own SID, right? That identify that object. SID has two portions. For example, if we can go with the just random numbers like this, and then I have at the end few other numbers as well. If this is the SID, I'm just taking an example, right? I'm not typing properly. The first portion will show, okay, this object belongs to this domain, and the last portion of this SID will make the object unique within the domain. So it means in one domain, the first portion of the SID will remain constant, right? So it tell us, okay, this guy belongs to this domain. As we in networking, we are saying, okay, this is the network portion, and then it's a host portion. So network portion it remain constant, so everyone knows, okay, this guy belongs to this network, and the host portion keep changing, right? Over here in SID, the first portion of the SID is remain constant, that identifies the object where it belongs to, which domain this guy belongs to. The last portion we call it RID, relative identifier. So the last portion will be RID.
So it's in the domain name, right? You're talking about.
No, not domain name. These are the SID. Let me try if we can get any SID. Yeah.
It looks like this.
See this one, SID? It looks like this. And the last SID 3 digit, there is hyphen and then 513. Right? So this will be a RID. The last portion of this SID will be RID, RID. So relative identifier. The first portion before hyphen will remain the same. So all the users that have this first portion belongs to this domain.
Same domain, okay.
Same domain. And within that domain, to identify the object within that domain, there is RID. So when we ever create any object, user, computer, group, security group, distribution group, anything, there is SID associated with that object. And the RID master, what RID master does, RID master have a bunch of RID available, right? So it creates a different pool and assign pool to different domain controllers in the environment. So wherever on which domain controller we are creating an object, that domain controller already get the pool of RID from this RID master. So it associate the RID portion with that SID. So that makes the unique. Otherwise, one domain controller is creating the object, it can assign different RID. The domain controller can assign the same RID over there as well. So number can be identical. So that will be a issue, right? So each and every object have to have a unique inactive directory. So they get the pool of reads from the read master, and if read master is down, read master cannot provide the read pool of read to the domain controllers. So if those domain controllers will run out of the reads, we cannot create the new objects in Active Directory. Sorry guys.
You cannot reach there.
Hmm?
You cannot have access, like we cannot reach there.
Yeah.
You don't have any, like, it's identification actually.
Yeah.
Like we have everyone different.
So each object required the unique identification, and we will not be able to create any object in the Active Directory. So its impact is can be high, right? So does it impact on the end users? Ashley, you are not speaking at all.
And users.
Either you are master of these things or master of the operations master. Right? so so Ashley, what can be read has direct impact on the end users according to our discussion, or no?
According to your mark, I can say yes.
Hmm?
You put red mark. I think yes.
I red mark mean if it goes down,
Okay.
right?
Yes, I think so. Maybe not sure. If user is creating any object there, so it will show error like it.
So there is no impact on the end users, right? But the administrators will not be able to create new objects. As an administrator, I will not be able to add a new user in the environment. I will not be able to create a new user. I will not be able to even delete a user, anything, right? Regarding the objects. When I'm deleting, it's getting another. No, deletion is okay. We can delete, we can add, right? Deletion will be happening with the same seed. So the addition and any other object, computer, users, security group, anything, group policy object, anything we cannot create, right? When we are out of the read pool. So Sir Ahmed sir, are you getting the idea? No?
Maybe.
Okay, now please you guys let me know what are the operation masters are. Which one is the first? So FSMO, FSMOs. Which one is one? First. Any number can be. They don't have any sequence. Ashley, one operation master, please.
Just finished it, right?
No, just the name of the.
Wait.
We didn't start.
He said read. So read master, right?
Structure.
Oh, that's it.
What is the second? Schema.
Domain name.
Domain naming, PDC emulator,
PDC emulator.
infrastructure master.
So infra. I guess I'm loud, right? So the other instructor have to come and close the.
You know,
You know,
better
when
we
they
close the
keep
door.
going and walk up and
This guy.
yeah, it's better that you close the door.
Yeah, that's better now.
It's better actually. I think even a lot of people like can more concentrated.
So okay, the fifth one. One is remaining. Ashley, please utter one.
Yeah.
domain name.
Which one is remaining? No, so only Ashley.
Read. Domain naming system.
Hmm?
Domain name is master.
Domain naming master. Good. Okay, domain naming master. So read is a domain-wide role or forest-wide role?
Read is forest wide.
Read is forest-wide role.
Read.
I hope so.
Ahmed,
I hope so.
beautiful smile. Ashley,
Then what's the question again?
read master is forest. We have 2 forest-wide roles. We have 3 domain-wide roles.
Yeah.
So either read master is a forest-wide or domain-wide role.
Is it domain wide?
Domain.
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 So domain wide, right? And then the schema master,
Nothing.
The forest wide.
that's forest wide.
Schema is forest wide.
Agree?
Yeah. Schema is forest. Schema and domain is forest wide.
Ahmed is saying forest. Kunal forest.
Yes, forest.
Forest wide. So majority is authority, right? If majority is wrong, wrong is right.
Yeah.
So forest wide. No, if it's the wrong, then Microsoft will have to change it. So what is PDC emulator? What, forest wide or domain wide? Okay, then infrastructure master. Ahmed. Tell Kunal what PDC emulator infrastructure master, either it's a domain wide or forest wide. My guess Kunal missed something.
What did you say, sir?
Either infrastructure master role is forest wide or domain wide.
Infrastructure.
Yes. Ashley,
Infrastructure.
domain wide.
Hmm.
Should I log it?
Yeah, it's domain.
Yes, sir.
And then domain naming master,
So in this case, we want forest wide.
On the one left.
forest wide.
Forest wide.
Okay. So we have these 5 roles, right? Read master, PDC emulator, infrastructure master. These are domain wide, and schema master and domain naming master forest wide. So right now where these roles are, all of these roles, we have 2 domain controllers, Tor DC1 and Core DC1. Where these roles are right now?
On the Tor one.
Tor 1, Tor DC1. Reason? What the reason?
It's the first one and it's the root one.
So always when we add a domain controller, all the roles are there, right? On the first domain controller, that we say it's a root domain, right? Root domain controller. So within a domain, the root domain controller usually have all the roles first by default, because we are installing, and then we keep adding the domain controllers. If we will add this one, you guys said all of these roles are on our Tor DC1. So NT Tor DC1, right? So now we have another domain controller. Which one is that domain controller? What the name of that?
Anti-code is one.
So second server is NT
core, NT-core.
So if the read master role is domain wide, do we have this read master on both domain controllers actually? The domain wide roles, right? We have read master domain wide, PDC emulator domain wide, infrastructure master domain wide roles. So we have two domain controllers. Are they on the both domain controllers now?
Yes.
Ahmed?
I didn't get it. Could you say again?
We have 4 students and I will have to repeat 4 times.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to.
No, it's okay. So I said domain wide roles. We have 2 domain controllers. Either they are on both domain controllers now or only on the one.
Oh, no.
Why?
They are on
Yes.
both.
No, first is should be one.
They're on both.
Hmm?
They're on both, yeah.
Both.
These are domain wide roles, right?
It's both.
Yeah. So
First one will be only on the
only
root.
one that I
So Ashley is saying on both.
yes.
Kunal is saying on both. Naveen is saying on both. Ahmed, what do you say, man?
I was thinking you were saying like NTDC1. I was thinking like only we created before the Active Directory.
See, this role, the domain wide,
Yeah.
and then this one is domain wide. This one is domain wide. This one is a read master, PDC emulator, and then infrastructure master. These 3 are domain wide roles. And all 3 of them, the Ashley, Kunal, and Naveen agree, okay, they are on both domain controllers because they are domain wide roles. And then where the forest wide role then? Hmm?
First one will be only on
Why
root
not on
one.
the second one then? Why not on the second one? If domain wide roles on the both domain controllers, why not the forest wide?
Rest is always on the root.
Hmm?
Rest is always on the root domain.
On the root domain.
Root controller.
And
Root DC.
so guys, we need to go over it, man. I said these are flexible single master. In domain, if we have 100 domain controllers, we may have only these 3 domain wide roles on one domain controller. We may have one role on one DC, another role on one DC, third role on another DC. So if we have 4 domain controllers, 3 domain, right now we have 2 domain controllers, right? We may have 1 role here, 2 roles here, or maybe we have all 3 roles here, all 3 roles here, but we cannot have at the same time on different DCs. This 3 role, we cannot. Right? We can spread across them, across the domain, but only one copy means only one. No copy is there. We cannot make a copy of this. There is no duplicate of any master there. Master is master. If there are 2 masters, the student will be gone. Student cannot get anything, right? Master will start fighting with each other.
They will keep on.
So guys, these rules are single, everything single. The role we have, for example, schema master and domain naming master, these are forest wide. The whole forest, only one domain controller may have role. Either the both role on one domain controller, or we have both role on 2 different domain controllers. But both are not on the 2 domain controller. If we have schema master on one domain controller, we may have the second domain naming master on the same domain controller. But if we want them on the different domain controllers, then one will have schema and one will have domain naming master. That's it, right? So all it's not getting replicated across the domain controllers. There's no replication of these masters. If we want to move from one domain to second domain, we have to move ourselves.
So I got it, like they cannot be at one thing at two places. Like how these things differentiate them, the domain and forest wide.
Differentiate.
Yeah, like domain wide and forest wide, how they affect.
We have discussed if see schema, when we want to change any object attribute, then the role of schema kicks in. We want to add an application, forest wide application. See right now, for example, I have one user.
So these will work forest wide and these will work domain wide.
Yeah, domain
Okay.
wide. See one thing, schema master. I have this user. So Ahmad is a user, right? And what Ahmad has now? Ahmad attribute have one is name. Then I have another attribute that is telephone. I have another email.
Address.
So address. Then
Status.
so login name, right?
Um,
What did you say, Kunal?
status, like who is that, like he said status, like
Status married.
status married.
So description, right?
Description.
And these status we can add in description. This guy is married. Be aware of. No other girl should come to him.
This is good.
He is booked now, right?
It's good. Should be nice.
So if these are the attributes already there, right? Now I want to bring the Exchange server in the environment, right? Exchange server is for emailing, right? So I want to add email address in this guy attributes, where I will add the email if it's not available earlier, right? So I need one attribute for email. I need one attribute for distribution list. So where I can add this guy to the distribution list display, right? So if I want those attributes to be added in the form already available, I want another tabs over there. What I will do, I will change the schema. Basically my schema is there. Schema is showing, okay, this guy have these attributes. Now we want to add to the that form, we will have to change the form. As we said in the college, they already well defined form. If they want some new change, they will have to print the form again. They cannot use the same form again, right? So the change schema, then we change the schema. We always use the one word, we prepare the schema according to that application. That is Exchange right now. Or if we are using any other sale application that require different fields in the user attributes or computer attributes, we will prepare the schema according to that application.
So it will
affect whole the forest.
whole forest, yeah.
Whole the forest. Email, the Exchange application, the whole forest use the same email address. That goes with the first root domain. The first domain in the forest, the always email we go with that. For example, over here we have newtech.edu. My email can be roy@newtech.edu. If I'm adding a new domain in the environment, my email will remain the same. Then I can play with the Exchange server to add some extra emails, but initially that user will get the same email. So that's impact is forest wide. And then read master, as we said, if there is no pool of read, we cannot add user, we cannot add any object, right? So that required any identification, and identification, there cannot be identification without read relative identifier, the portion of read, right? So that is coming from read master. And PDC emulator, a special is time synchronization, legacy support, right? So what else? Group policies replication, passwords deletion, immediate replication. So these are domain wide, within one domain. Infrastructure master, domain naming master only for domain. It's very clear. See, domain naming master. So domains we may have in the forest. Within domain we don't have domain, right? So domain only within the forest. So it's a forest wide role.
Domain wide is just kind of small thing than a forest wide.
Yeah. So guys, if I have one forest and I have 5 domains, how many roles I will have master operations role altogether?
5.
So,
I have one forest.
yes.
In that forest I have 5 domains,
Okay.
right? In one we may have 3 domain wide roles, 2 forest wide roles. So how many roles I will have altogether in over here?
5.
Right.
5.
5 roles?
Yes.
Tricky question. 5.
Ashley? Hmm? 5? Ahmed? Only one intelligent guy is.
Left.
No idea? 5? You are showing me hand or you are telling me? I'm sorry, man, if I did some mistake. Don't get me outside.
You said each domain has separate read and PDC and infrastructures, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be 10, 15,
So
16.
not 15 too many. That it's 5
It's
only.
5.
So 5 should be locked.
Think so.
I guess pack the bags and go home.
Oh my God.
So guys, see, I have I was just talking, and then I realized you guys are not getting, I think, anything. So I have this forest. This one is my forest. And then I have domains within this forest. One domain, second domain, so third domain, fourth domain, fifth domain, right? And I said we have 2 forest wide role.
Yes.
So forest wide role will be here, schema. In the first, it's a root domain here, right? This one is a root domain, assume. It's a root domain. In root domain, I have 2 domain controllers. In the second domain, I have again 2 domain controllers, because at least 2 domain controllers required per domain controller. according to the recommendations. So my each domain has
Two domain controllers.
two domain controllers. Where will be the forest wide role?
Everywhere. Like,
Again everywhere.
no, like, forest wide.
Forest wide role, we
On the route
hold
one.
the forest
On the route one.
on the route 1. So we may have the forest wide role
We have three, I think.
schema
We
master
have two only, yeah. Schema master and the domain naming sheet master. Is the domain naming master.
and domain
Naming master.
naming master in this domain, right? In any of it can be, the first can be on the 1 DC we may have,
Okay, got it. Yeah,
right?
yeah, here.
And the second we may have on the second DC. Now where we will have the 3 domain wide rules,
We can have each one have the three of them.
then how many roles we will have altogether?
17.
17. So how you guys are saying only 5? See,
Yes.
now we have domain here.
That
The
was-
first domain in over here, it has schema master, domain naming master roles. That will work for whole the forest. But this domain will have its own 3 roles, right? Those are domain wide. Which are those? So
under each
PDC,
domain.
PDC emulator.
And the read master
So read
and infrastructure.
and infrastructure.
Infra.
So where these will have, we may have this role, this one, it can be 1 here,
To the
2 on this server, right? But this domain have its own these 3 roles. Then these 3 roles have this domain as well. Sorry, this one.
yes.
But it can be within this domain, they can be on the 1 DC, or they spread across in the whole domain. If we have 3 domain controllers there, we may have each role on 1 domain controller, or only 1 domain controller may have those 3 roles. And then these 3 roles, every domain will have this one, this domain, this domain, this domain. They all will have their own 3 domain wide roles, but within domain there will be only one. That's it. They are not going to replicate. So now if this is the case and I have one forest mean I don't have any other forest, right? It's whole, everything is one.
Yeah.
Then I have 5 domains. 5 domains means 3 into 5.
3 to 5.
Each domain has,
3.
it will be 15, right? And the forest will have 2 roles. 2 are forest wide.
Forest wide, yeah.
And altogether
17.
it will be 15 plus 2. 17. But don't, if you guys are in the interview and they will ask how many of single operations master role we have, and Ahmed will answer 17. Right? Only 5. There 5 exist on the planet, but then within the environment. If we have 1 forest and 1 domain, only our forest has 1 domain, then we have only 5 operation master role there, right? It's just for understanding, right? So
Well, why is the forest too? I thought you said we had one forest.
forest 2 roles. These are
Two
Two
masters,
roles.
Forest wide roles.
schema master and domain naming master. The whole forest has these two roles. The best practice is we always keep them on the root domains domain controllers. Otherwise, we may have anywhere, but there will be only one for the forest. One schema, one domain name master. We can keep them anywhere, but the best practice is on the root domain. We may have but each and every domain will have these three roles their own. Yes, sir.
So for the extra understanding, we can we think like the forest as a one organization?
Yeah.
Can we think like okay, the domains are the branches? Does it make sense?
You can, yeah, it's
I
your
understand, I'm just
configuration.
confusing with it. Okay.
It's your configuration. See,
Okay.
you can think the whole Canada is a one forest, one country. Then the provinces are the domains. See, they have one the top level management for the whole forest, enterprise level management.
Dot.
Then each province has its own government setup, right? They are running the affairs of their provinces, and some of the affairs are taken care by the forest for the central government.
Yes.
And some are by state-wise.
See? So these are the entities. You guys can take the example country very easily, and then the cities, maybe the child domains
Child domains.
for these domains, these provinces. Each province has their own child domains. Those are cities. They perform some roles there within city government, and some are taken care by the provincial government, and some are taken care by the forest, right?
Okay.
Right. So the forest wide, the Justin Trudeau, what the powers he has, does he is going to share any other prime minister we have in the whole forest? We have only one prime minister, right? And we have one governor general for the whole Canada. Two. So we have this schema and the domain naming master, right? So each and every province have the same thing. They are one. They are not duplicating themselves for different provinces, right? Only one. And then each and every government has their own premier and the different things, right? So these roles are then provincial wide, domain wide. When we get the visa from outside, any visitor gets a visa, he is not getting from the provinces, right? It's getting from the Canada.
First-wide.
So whole Canada, right? Within whole Canada, they can go anywhere. Any province they can visit, right? So please,
Canada just came directly to Montreal, okay? So I need to get the two permissions from the Canada government permission, the second one the Quebec permission. The Quebec permission, it says like
so guys, bring your servers up. And bring your core server up. It's immediately goes down.
Can you immediately convert? Fast.
Yeah, it's fast. I like core server more,
Hard to work.
but actually hate core server.
You don't hate.
Ask her.
That's what he has.
Didn't know you hate it.
No, you read it up, or-
Core server is ready.
Yes.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's come up. So please spray the password WELCOME. In my case, it's 2. So type here PowerShell. Or leave it. We can stay with command line. We have command lines commands as well. So type net NETDOM net dom.
We still are waiting.
We are still waiting. Kunal, can you help Ahmed?
No, it's still like
Apply
Slowly.
some
So how can you?
Help him to bring the server up. Use some power, man. If you both will try it, you guys can bring it up.
It's coming.
will my code this work? I thought you said I had issues.
No, you have issue only with DHCP server.
Oh,
Actually, the thing is, we did the class a little differently as routine. We put some roles on the core server. Usually, you know what we do? We just show how to install the core server and then done. We don't do anything with the core server, right? So, but we did something. If you guys think it's benefit for you, and if you think, oh man, it's a burden, then it's a problem for you. So take advantage of it. You guys will have video, just go through over it, and these things will work for you guys in future. For me, it's the easiest thing to play on the GUI, right? I will not have to wait for Ahmed. Okay, where either he is able to enter the password or not. Sorry, Ahmed. So netdom, 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 then query, 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 space. In each word there is space. Netdom, NETDOM, netdom together, then space, query, 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 space, and then FSMO, FSMO. FSMO, right? Enter. Now what it's saying, see all these operations master are listed there, right?
Tone.
Schema master, domain naming master, PDC, read pool manager, and infrastructure master. Read pool manager, don't get confused, it's another name of the pool read pool master. So where they are residing, NT-TOR DC1, right? All are on NT-TOR DC1 right now. They are telling where these roles are right now. So we will move them over here, but first time we will do through GUI. So we can explore where these roles are, and if we need to perform in GUI areas, where they located. So first we will do by that, but first it's a 5 p.m. You guys may have 20 minutes break, and then we will start from here. So guys, please come to your GUI DC, the TOR DC1, and you guys have opened this Active Directory users and computer, right? Please open it, and let me show you if you guys don't remember. So please click on tools. On server manager, click on tools and then Active Directory users and computers. So texting is not allowed during the class. Ahmed, did you find it?
Yeah.
So please click on this newtech.edu. It's your domain. Right click on it, and then please click on operations masters. Here we can find few of them. Click on operations master and see read, PDC and infrastructure. These are three domain-wide role, and where we click on the domain, right? When we right click on the domain, we can get these three: read, PDC and infrastructure. Right now, if we want to transfer and this read, PDC or infrastructure from this server to the second server, can we see it's saying operations master? Right now it's on this server, and to transfer the operations master role to the following computer, click change. So it's showing the same server, right? We cannot change, so both are the same servers. It's showing Tor DC1, not core DC1. Click on change and see the current domain controller is the operation master. To transfer the operation master role to another computer, you must first connect to it. So first we need to establish the connection to the other server. So how we can do that? Please close this one.
But that one is already connected. That one got the IP from this one.
No, they are connected, but not for the transferring of the
Okay,
operations.
migration.
It's a entity as utility basically in the back end. We will use to seize the role for that utility. You will notice that in the back end that utility is running, and that needs connections to transfer the roles. So again, right click on this domain, and now you will see it's a change domain controller. One option is change domain controller. Click on that, and then it's showing both of the domain controllers now. So choose the second option, change to this domain controller or ADLDS instance. So this domain controller, and after clicking on this domain controller, select the first one, anti-core DC1, right? So anti-core DC1, click on that and then do OK. And now please again right click on this new tech.edu domain, and now click on operations masters, and now see on the both fields now we have different servers. The first that is recently holding the role, and the second one that is currently not a holder. We are going to change to this server all the roles. So first we are on the read. See, we are on the read tab. So click on change. It may be a very long visit, be careful. So change, and are you sure you want to transfer the operations master role? Click on yes and do OK. So it gets changed, right?
It was not.
What happened?
Why you said no?
It's very long. We did 3 clicks, right? So come to the
So what happened now? The core DC now became a
read master.
read master.
Click OK.
So Kunal is saying now the core is core server, the core DC1 is read master, right? So now any anti-core Tor DC1 is no more.
Yeah.
So click on PDC, the tab PDC, and then click on change. Yes, and the operations master role was successfully transferred. So click OK. Then come to the third tab, infrastructure, and do the same. Click on change, yes, and OK. And we can perform the transfer like this when our servers are healthy. No one is crashed. Nothing wrong with the roles holder server. Everything is perfectly fine. Just what we are, for our own purposes, we are transferring the roles to other domain controllers, or just we want to replace our hardware that is very old hardware. After 3 years, when companies change the hardware. For that purposes, they need to bring the new server. They will change these roles to the other servers.
Yeah.
So there the servers we will decommission. When we finish the server from our environment, we use the word decommission. We always decommissioned the server and then bring the new one. So please close it.
So it's used as temporary, I mean like as a temporary or emergency situations.
We can, and then we can keep the roles there. It doesn't matter, or we can bring them back if we want.
But if it's crash,
We will do that. So now please click on the again core server tab and issue the command again. Netdom query FSMO. Just use the top arrow and now hit enter. And notice now where our roles are. The schema master and domain naming master are still on NT-TOR DC1, but the rest three, PDC, read pool manager and infrastructure master, they are moved to NT-core DC1 now. The first command is still there. If you notice there, all of them were on the first domain controller. Now they are split on in between those three servers. 2 on the one server and the 3 we have on the second server. So please come back to the GUI server, minimize this Active Directory users and computers console and click on tools to open Active Directory domains and trusts. The second tool, second AD tool is Active Directory domains and trusts. Click on that. And now please click on the first line, Active Directory domains and trust. Right click and click on operations masters. So does it showing 2 servers already, right? So one is NT-TOR DC1 and the second is NT-core DC1.
Why is mine showing?
It's not showing.
mine case too. It was first it showed like kind of error.
Okay.
It said like it's
Mine is
not
showing
connected properly something.
The first and the second is Tor.
Yeah.
Both are Tor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do it. Click or right click on again and then change Active Directory domain controller, the second option. Active Directory
Yeah.
domain. Aman, pay attention there, man. Your is showing both.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You are with me always. We are always on the same page. So please choose the second option, this domain controller, and then please select the core one. Click core and do OK. And again right click, and now this time operations master, and now you will find both, right?
Yes.
Now again go through the long wizard, click on change. And are you sure you want to transfer the operations master role to different computer? Yes, do yes. Okay. And which role is remaining now? It was domain naming master, right? First we did
Schema is
read, PDC and infrastructure. Now we did domain naming master. Which else is Ahmed? Which is the fifth one? We did not transfer yet. Which role we did not transfer yet? We have transferred 4 now. Just for Ahmed, I'm going to core server back. Go to the core server. You are not here mentally. So again, issue the command.
We did
Top arrow.
NT DC1. We didn't transfer that one, but we transferred it to core.
Again, issue the command and see which role still need to transfer. From TOR DC1 to core DC1. Core DC1.
You know, in our case, why it was not showing?
Schema
Because
master.
our core shut down.
Schema master. Good.
Our core
So
shut
now
down.
we have 4 roles over here on core DC1, and one is still on tor DC1. But the 5th role schema is too critical, it's hidden role. We first need to issue some command to bring it up. Otherwise we cannot get access to that role schema using without using and issuing any command. So they kept it hidden, so we whenever we need we will bring it purposely. So first, please, on this server, the GUI server, right click on this Windows icon and then command prompt admin. Open the command prompt admin1. Now please issue the command.
Just give me 1 second.
Sure. Take your time, boss.
No, in our case, why it was? Because the core one shut down its very fast. It was not.
Yeah, it's
there was no
sometimes
connection
slow.
with that.
Yeah. So first, before I issue the command, let me show you guys. Either we can see it where it's supposed to. So just type MMC Microsoft Management Console. When we can customize the consoles, so we use MMC for that. So type MMC, hit enter, and now it's open the console, right? So if you guys will click on file and then add remove snap in, click on add remove snap in. Behind.
Yeah.
On which server you are?
Now I'm with you, right? But just tell me, like,
Okay.
what is it,
Click on file.
which console is this?
See, I just issued a command
Mac.
MMC, enter.
Okay, good.
We can run the command in command prompt, or we can bring the run by using right click
Yeah.
on window and we can use it. So click on file, add remove snap in, and see, can we see any schema there? Find the schema, Active Directory, schema master. So we cannot find here, right?
Yes.
It's supposed to be here. All the snap-ins are here, so we can customize them for later use, right? For ease access, we can create our own console and keep them on the desktop, and we can always just one click we can keep our Active Directory users and computer on the desktop, Active Directory sites and services on the desktop, computer management on the desktop using this one, add snap-in. But right now it is not showing schema there because it's hidden. We first need to issue some command. So please click cancel, minimize this MMC. We will come back here and now issue some command reg svr 32.exe regsvr 32.exe, then space, then schm, then again mgmt. So there will be two M in between H and G. schmmgmt dot dll. So after issuing this command, the schema will show up in that snap-in. So hit enter. Now it's saying DLL register server in succeeded, right? Dot .dll file succeeded. Do okay.
My case no.
Then you guys did some mistake and spelling mistake.
And
Naveen? Ahmed, bring the command by using top arrow and make sure the spellings are right.
32 rows. Oh, 5 rows. That's going to be RAG.
So who has done? Ahmed done?
Yep.
Successfully?
Yep.
Good. Naveen? Still not? You want support? Actually, please help him out.
Yes,
Expose it to you.
it's done.
It's done. So please bring the MMC back. And now please click on File. You know, whenever we do some minimize, it's always on the taskbar. So please click on File and then Add Remove Snap In. And now
Second one.
the second one is Active Directory Schema, which was not here before, right? So just select this one, single click on this Active Directory schema, not schema, schema. The first one, second one, Active Directory Schema. So, and click on Add. It will come up here, right? So after that, please click OK. And now we have Active Directory Schema right here. So now we were able to go to the long wizard. Right click here. And then first Active Directory, change Active Directory Domain Controller.
This controller, core.
The second option, this domain controller, choose core.
Okay.
Are you not?
Is that?
I think it will not work.
Hmm?
It will show error. It's okay.
No problem. So please do OK and then
Yeah, the same.
OK. Active Directory Schema Snap-in is not connected to the schema operations master. You will not be able to perform any changes. Schema modifications can only be made on the schema FSMO holder. It's a schema FSMO holder. Do OK.
Oh,
And then again, please click on Active Directory and come to the operations master. And now we have tor DC1 and core DC1.
Yeah.
So click on change. And now it's saying, okay, do yes. And operations master successfully transferred.
Oh, mine is something
Do okay.
operation.
Now we have gracefully transferred all the roles on the server that is down. So net dom query FSMO. So guys, make sure we have all the roles on this server. So you can do the lab with us, but you will have to transfer back only 3 roles instead of 5. You will be transferring back, seizing back the 3 roles, right? So we have these 5 roles on this server now. And how we can crash it? Do you have any hammer? No?
Core one.
Just please shut down this server. Right click, power, core, where we have now operation master
Shut
roles.
down guest.
So shut down guest.
You can suspend it.
No, just shut down. So role shouldn't be available now.
Yeah.
It's like we have now unplugged the server.
Yeah.
Server is no more there. So now please come to your anti-tor DC1. We already have opened the admin command there. Bring it up. And now please issue the command here. Net dom query FSMO FSMO netdom space query space FSMO.
All are on core.
Hit enter. So it's showing all the roles are on anti-core DC1. So now please type cd backslash enter, and now we should be on the C drive, right? And now type ntds util enter.
So CD. So basically from that moment we were inside, like looking outside. Now we are outside, looking inside.
Now we are there where the NTDS folder is.
Everything is there.
Where NTDS folders are on C drive.
Yeah.
Now we are,
We did.
so now are you with us at this page? So please type here activate instance INSTANCE activate instance NTDS. Got it? And then hit enter. So now it's saying activate instance set to NTDS. Now please type roles and hit enter. In FSMO maintenance, first need to connect. So connections. Type connections. Hit enter.
Two.
Done it. So now type connect to domain. Instead of server, we have only one server right now, right? Our live server is we have one. So connect to domain new tech.edu. CONNECT connect space to connect space domain space newtech.edu and hit enter. So now connected to NT.DC1, it's connected to the same server, right? Now quit the server connections, QUIT, quit. And now please type the question mark here. Now please select this C's infrastructure master role using the left side of the mouse, and then just on the selected command right click and come in front of the FSMO maintenance and right click. It will paste the command there. So C's infrastructure master, so hit enter. For pop-up, click on yes. Now what it's saying, FSMO transfer successfully, right?
So it doesn't need to C is required.
If C was required, but it's able to transfer the simply, so it's okay. We don't mind.
Because it's maybe like it's connection with the core.
That's down. Even if it's not, we are not logging, even then it will not show you. So now please type the second command. Again come back and then select the C's naming master. Then right click and then please type C's naming master and hit enter. Yes.
So we
So now transfer domain naming FSMO failed. Proceeding with Caesar. So first it tried to transfer it, that failed, and then it seized the role, right? So now it's showing where is our naming master, this one. It's showing on NT.DC1. See, the naming master is on NT.DC1. Now instead of going back, we can type question mark here and enter. Now please select C's PDC.
how do you know like that one has copy?
We will issue the command, or we can issue the command later. Yeah, we can check all of them. So right click here and C's PDC. We are going one by one. First was infrastructure, then naming master, then PDC. Got it? So hit enter, do yes. Now guys, this role get transferred. So come for the fourth role, that is C's read master. So select this one, right click to copy, and then right click in front of FSMO maintenance to paste it. Hit enter, do yes for pop-up. Yeah, these commands are the best. The site is TechNet. It's a Microsoft website.
TechNet.
When you search in Google, and if you will see in options there is TechNet website, always use that website. Let me write down here, or if I go Google, let me show you guys. So technet.microsoft.com. So this one is a site. Let me paste it there in the copy. So it's Microsoft's own, site, and we can trust this site. We mostly, we do Google. Whatever we are typing in Google, and it listing different websites. First, keep looking all of the sites. If there is TechNet, always go for TechNet. After TechNet, there is one more thing: social.technet. Social means you, me, all belongs to Microsoft. We can keep adding the stuff there, right? So that is social. That is open forum. But we always depend on TechNet. This is the most dependable site. So guys, come back. And now which role we need to seize? We have done 4, the last one, right? Let me go for seize. So seize schema master. So is it done with everyone? Done? Ahmed?
Yeah, done.
So, not yet? So see, if we have all the roles now, NT Tor DC1, Tor DC1, Tor DC1, Tor DC1, Tor DC1, right? Ashley, are you on the same page?
Yes, it was not done. It's the attempting safe transfer schema.
I think she also did that.
So now please type quit, 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 again quit, and now please issue the command net dom query FSMO. And make sure all the roles are on anti-tor DC1 now, right? So schema, domain naming, PDC, read, infrastructure, all are on anti-tor DC1 in my case. Ahmed,
Yep.
all are on the
DC1.
same DC1.
I have one code.
First one was called schema master doesn't change.
Can you seize the role again?
You are same. Oh no.
No, all of our roles are on DC1. So please click on the tab of anti-core DC1, and on your left side where we have the label for it, right click on it. Make sure it's anti-core DC01. Right click and then come to manage, and then please delete from disk. Yeah, see, in your left pane, anti-core DC1.
Why we gonna delete them?
Yeah,
जिससे खत्म खात्मा
we don't need it anymore.
Oh,
We cannot bring it back to the environment when we cease the roles.
So I said remove.
Yeah, just no, not like this. Don't remove. Like this, and right click anti-core DC1. Come to manage, then delete from disk.
completely.
oh, okay.
Delete from disk. Do yes, and now it's gone, right? So please minimize this command prompt. Cancel this console, we don't need anymore. No, we don't need to save even.
No.
And now we are in Active Directory domains and trust, right? Close this one as well. So can you please just click on tools and click on DNS. Click on anti-tor DC1 server in NTDS and click on pointing arrow to expand this. Then please expand forward lookup zones, and then please expand your newtech.edu domain. Then please expand your sites, and then expand your default first site name. Click on TCP and see here. So we have still two global catalog. GC means global catalog. We have still two, right?
Yes.
Kerberos, we have still two. LDAP, we have still two.
Two.
LDAP helps people to find out the Active Directory. It's a protocol. So if we have two domain controllers, there should be two. So then Kerberos performs the authentication for the users, and we have two. Anti-core DC1 is there, anti-tor DC1 is there. Even we have deleted our domain controller. We have removed the domain controller in our environment core DC1. So these things, we call them metadata.
Yeah.
So we, after removing any domain controller from the environment, if we have to remove, not gracefully, if we are removing them gracefully, then the metadata get cleaned automatically when we are removing gracefully. When we are doing like this, we are shutting down the servers and we are just throwing it out, then there is metadata. We need to clean it up. It's not only here. I just showed you guys one folder. If we will go to the sites and services, it's there. If plenty of places, this data will be there. So if we will take this example, so if any user will make a query to core DC1 to search something, he is not gonna find core DC1, right? It's gonna get the failed message. Again, if some server will come to the DNS server to look for domain controllers to get authenticated against them, so these servers will send them to anyone, Tor DC1 or core DC1. If these servers will go to the core DC1, there will be no authentication. Server is not there. So then he will again receive the failed message, and the user will send the query back to the DNS server. So I couldn't find, and it can happen again and again. The same LDAP server, if they want to locate the services, they are not able to locate, right? So we must have to clean the metadata. For that, we can again use the utility, NTDS util, that easier. Otherwise, we will have to explore plenty of folders to remove this server metadata. We have crashed. So please again type here NTDS util, NTDS util and hit enter, and please type question mark here now. See here one thing, metadata cleanup. Do we have clean up objects of decommissioned servers? The domain controllers we have removed from the environment. It will clean up all the objects related to those decommissioned servers. So just again copy this one and paste it in front of NTDS util. You can type it, metadata cleanup. Done. So hit enter, and now it's metadata cleanup prompt. So type it here, connections, and now we need to connect. So connect to server, and then type the name of the server.
Entry code DC01, I think.
DC1 dot new. If you have given the name 01, then type 01.
I'm not sure. I will see. Like,
Go with that DC1 then.
yeah.
See, connect to server anti-tor DC1 dot newtech.edu.
No, anti-tor or oh, I thought
Anti-tor
like
DC1. Core gone. You guys were hating core, so he gone now. You guys gonna miss that server now.
hit the new address.
So please hit enter. Now in server connections, do we need any more? We have established the connection.
Quit.
Go quit.
New
Are you with us, Ahmed? Are you sure? Your face impressions are different.
No, I'm missing
ND code.
He's missing anti-tor.
We have a very few minutes now. Otherwise, they will close the college and we will have to spend night inside
You know what they do? Like one day I was in the
in
washroom.
darkness.
I was in the washroom going, and the light down, everything down.
They will shut down the lights and we
Just
will
too
be.
fast.
So there will be no heat, no light.
They should check like who is inside, like here in the classes. Maybe 5 minutes before 7 they.
Ahmed, what's the issue? You are letting me know done, and you are not done.
No, I said I take it and connect it to the server, and then
See on the board. See on the
yeah,
board.
same like that.
Space.
Which was
Laptop on the server.
useless space. I did.
Hey, Nadi.
Yep.
No, we have to finish it. I don't want to touch this topic again. So metadata cleanup, now we are there, we are on the same page. Now what we need to do, we need to remove the metadata of the server we have crashed, right? No more in the environment. How we can find it? First we will have to look into the domains, right? Then we have to go to the specific domain. We have only one, but we have to go through all the steps. Then within domain we have sites. We have only one site, then we explore the site, then we list the servers, then within the servers we will select that server. Okay, we want to remove this one, and then we will say okay, remove it, and then it will be get removed. So please first type it here, select operation target, SE L-E-C-T select OPERATIONS operation, not S, and select operation space target.
You can use question mark to help.
Select operation target, and now we are on the select operation target prompt. So first type list domains. These are simple English. There is no specific right commands things. I'm typing pure simple English.
Yeah.
So as we are type with the space, everything keep typing. So list domains, hit enter. See, it's showing found one domain. So 0, right? Number is 0. So just say okay, select 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 domain 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 space 0. So select domain 0, enter.
No problem, sir.
So now please the next is list sites, SITES, list sites, and hit enter. Now it's saying I found only one site, that is again 0.
Yeah.
So type select SELECT select
Side 0.
site 0. Now the next is list servers, SERVERS servers in site. List servers
Inside 0 or no?
inside. No.
Yeah, okay. We are already in.
List servers inside. We have selected the site
We are
0.
already.
Not sites list.
Now it's showing two servers. One is 0, NT.DC1, and the second is 1.
Core 1 is
CN. So code DC1, right? So now type select 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 server 1, right? Make sure it's 1, right? The core one, this one. The one is core DC1.
Okay.
After select server 1, hit enter. And now what the operation is, after selecting the server, now we go back to the metadata cleanup, QUIT quit, and now we are again on the metadata cleanup prompt. Now type here remove, REMOVE, remove selected 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 server. Type remove selected server and hit enter. So it's asking, are you sure you want to remove the server object? No, it's the last stage. We can make sure either we are going to remove the right one or the wrong one. Make sure it's anti-core DC1. Anti-core DC1 name should be here in the second line. And then please do yes.
For me, no.
My data clean. Yeah.
I'm not that man.
Yeah, because you missed some commands.
Reader.
Just do quit, QUIT quit. Now you can catch up in the next class. Come earlier little bit and watch the video and just follow it. So QUIT quit. And now just to make sure either we done or not. So come first close DNS and then click tools, then DNS, and again expand the forward lookup zone, then domain newtech.edu, then please expand sites, then expand default first site name, and then click on TCP.
Remove.
Right now we have only 3 the server rackets there. So we have only one GC, one Kerberos, one LDAP, and the same way it gets removed from everywhere across the forest. So now please, it's done. So please shut down gracefully the server, right click, power, and shut down guest. And then shut down your physical machines as well, please. So Naveen is in rush, he knows